Welcome to another episode of Signal 11 Outdoors. Tonight we have maybe the most special guest we've had yet, Joe Santiago of NJ Multispecies. Joe, how are you?
Steve, what's up, man? Pleasure to
What's
be
going
here.
on? Likewise. This is like full circle here because this whole thing started because of you guys, really, and me going on with you and Chris. So
It's a pretty
yeah,
crazy story. Yeah, it is
yeah.
crazy
Well,
how it all fell
we'll
into place.
absolutely. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it, cover a whole bunch of different things, and then we'll just see where it goes. I like your hat, and
Oh, yeah.
you probably like my hat, right? And they're both for sale on each other's websites.
There you go. They are both for sale. They are nice hats,
Yeah,
too.
cool. So, Joe, you're my guest tonight, so I get to ask you some questions, right?
Yeah, I'm not used to this. It's new
I
to
know.
me.
So enjoy it. So I'll try to throw some questions at you, make you think a little bit, and try to catch you off guard a little bit. But
Awesome.
let's start out real quick. We'll just cover. Joe and Chris are the two podcasters on the New Jersey Multi-Species podcast. You guys are up to what, about 120 something episodes now?
We are at 126.
Wow, it's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And we're on every week, too, as you are. But yeah,
Yeah.
126 has been a long journey, and we've met a lot of people. And yeah, it's been wild ride.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions on how you guys got started, because I really don't know.
I don't know if
So,
we do either,
but with
but I'll try.
but none of us do, right? But with that point, that's what we're going to start out with. But I have to say, before we even get into it, for the people who maybe don't know who you guys are, because I think I have a lot more hunting people on here than fishing people, but I try to do a little of both because I enjoy doing both. But what's interesting is what you and Chris have, that whole New Jersey Multi-Species podcast. I don't remember. I think it must have been Jen. Somebody, when you guys first started, I think you had about 5 or 8 episodes under your belt already. So we're going back, what, at least it was last year, I'm gathering, right? Or is it
It's over
more than
over
that?
2 years.
Okay,
Over
it's
2
over
years.
2 years.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I should have just did the simple math, but I remember somebody leading me to it, and I think Jen or somebody led me to you guys, and I started watching it. And as I was I started watching when I was in the midst of my business, the deer season business. So it's cool because I'm usually working, for hours at the stuff I do. So I was able to listen to you guys, and I listened to the first one. And then the second one, I wasn't sure. And then, like, by the third one, I called up Jen. I said, "You know what? These two guys are an interesting team." And honestly, that's what struck me the most is you and Chris and how you guys went, how you don't always agree, which is awesome. And, how you go back and forth. And I had said to Jen that I think you two have something, I think you guys got a good chemistry going, which it's like the odd couple kind of.
I honestly blame the success to me and Chris not agreeing, because if you had 2 people constantly agree with each other, it just wouldn't be a show. We don't agree. We don't see eye to eye on many things. We spend most time fishing together, fighting with each other. I don't even know if we like each other, honestly, but that's what makes it work. It's part of it, definitely.
Yeah. I noticed that, and that's why I brought that up right away. I noticed that from the get-go is, at the first couple times I was working doing the deer lure and stuff, and I'm listening to you guys. I'm not really watching it. I'm listening, but I had YouTube on, and I kept looking back. I'm like, "Are these 2 guys gonna fight here? Like, is it wait, they're not in the same room. They can't throw anything at each other," you know? And that kinda got me to the second episode, to be honest with you, and then the third, and then here we are 120 26 episodes later, man. It's a crazy chemistry, but a good one.
And you throw our producer Deuce in, and it's a third wheel of a fight because he also doesn't agree with either one of us. So it's a whole team of people that hate each other,
Yeah.
and it works. We never expected it really to work. New Jersey, a fishing podcast. I basically was just fed up with the bass. Our belief system basically is that bass fishermen have this horrible tunnel vision that all fishing should be based on bass fishing. That really is brainwash, we think, from marketing. Largemouth bass is the most successful fish in the country. And if you're going to sell fishing lures, which one do you want to sell lures for? That one. Which one do you want to have tournaments for? That one. Everything on TV was bass. Everything on the tournaments, all bass. And me and Chris, we loved fishing for other stuff. Chris was pretty well known for jigging lake trout on Merrill Creek. I saw him on the forums, and I was pretty big into hybrid striper fishing. And I think eventually I'd sent him a message and I said, "Hey man, you want to meet up one day? You know, you show me this, I'll show you that." And he's like, "Yeah, all right." And we met up and we went fishing. And then within like a couple weeks, we went like on a trip overnight pretty far away. And then we went into a tournament in Round Valley and caught like a 13-pound lake trout. And it was like the biggest fish that was ever entered in a tournament in the past 10 years. Like, it's a lot of weird shit like that happened.
Right.
And, you know, there's all these numbers you have to hit to actually make money on this. And we ran into you, who eventually introduced us to Ted Nugent, which the Ted Nugent episode is a huge part of what built our podcast. Now, Jack Chitterelli's added a huge following to that too. But definitely the Ted Nugent was a turning point in all of it, for sure. And we'll always be thankful to you for that. Because, yeah, that was huge, and we owe you for that. But we're not only a podcast. I think what makes it so unique is we're also a fishing channel. We post tons of fishing content. We have a private club called Multispecies Mayhem that's up to 3,000 members on Facebook. We do private trips we charter out entire party boats, and they sell out fairly quickly. It's just all unbelievable. When we first pitched this idea to each other, we thought that no one would ever look at this. For the first while, it does seem like that, but we kept just pushing. I find that the page is very unique because we constantly have to battle trolls and shit. We understand, you know, there are people that are professional bass fishermen. There's people that are great at striper fishing. There's people that are great at black fishing. People that are great at fluking. But how many people are really great at catching everything? We catch, I think this week alone, we posted 17 different species between the two of us. And we throw in Chuck Manny, who does the same kind of thing. It's very unique, especially to the state of New Jersey. We basically want to fish for everything except bass.
Yeah, it's great. Well,
in a nutshell.
And I get a kick out of it because you know, I see all the non-bass or the anti-bass humor and stuff in there, and I'm like, they're not kidding. They really don't appreciate that.
This is new. I mean, we live in New Jersey. You would never think how great the fishing is in New Jersey, but the freshwater fishing in New Jersey is some of the best and most diverse fishing on planet Earth. I could literally in one day catch a 40-pound striper, get off the water, and go catch a landlocked salmon in Merrill Creek. I could go catch a lake trout in the same lake. And then I could move 10 minutes over, catch hybrid stripers and pike in Spruce Run. How many other states can you do that? New York's going to, New York might be able to do that, but it's a 12-hour round trip. New Jersey could do it in a much smaller area. It's very unique, and I think that this multi-species, these guys that are just bass fishing over and over, they have no idea what they're missing. No idea.
Right, and the truth of the matter is that, and you mentioned about bass fishing and lures and stuff, most people who fish love to buy tackle, right? So the thing is that if you're if you're one, we all have stuff in our garage that we barely remember buying, and some stuff we've never used, but we'll never give it away. I mean, unless it's like to a family member.
And that's because the lure is selling the fisherman.
Yeah,
like you're
catching the fish, or catching the fisherman.
The lure is catching the fisherman, not the fish. Yeah, that's what it is.
Right. No, I agree. And I got to ask you real quick, and you're right. You hit it's a really good point about New Jersey, the diversity, the amount of species you can get. And I tell people a lot of times to check out your podcast and your YouTube channel and stuff. But I tell them to go on the Facebook page because the Facebook page and is just constantly changing, and it's going to keep anybody's interest, because if you're at all into catching anything, you're going to be interested in it. You know,
it does I think like this week we posted a striped bass from the Hackensack River, a steelhead from New York. My son caught a 32-inch brown trout. Chris caught Rhode Island blackfish. Me and Max caught 2 muskies. I mean, that's just in the past 7 days. The pace is unbelievable. One of the big misconceptions is that like we don't work and we do this for a living. That's totally not true.
Right.
Me and Chris both do work full 40-hour jobs like normal people. I probably get to go fishing 1 day a week. I know Facebook makes it look like I'm fishing all the time, but It's just spread out pictures.
Right. No, I agree. It does look like you guys are fishing all the time. And on the opposite side of that, and Wong is actually fishing all the time. and I
He is.
and
Jen
Chuck
is. Yeah.
Manny, it looks like he's always fishing.
Them guys are, luckily,
Yeah.
bless them, they are retired and enjoying retirement. Me and Chris are
Yeah.
not retired yet, and we probably
Yeah.
won't be, but yeah, we do work. So, and then on top of
Yeah.
that, we have to spend time with family, and then we have to also spend time. We try this year, like, we haven't been hunting at all because we're just so busy. We haven't even
Right.
looked at the woods, but we're trying.
Yeah.
We're
You get
not
out
good
there.
hunters, but we do try.
No, it's cool though. You're out there and you do try and you enjoy it when you're out there. And I'm sure you guys battle a little bit in the stand, bicker a little
Oh
bit, but
yeah,
that's great. That's great.
always
So, Joe,
bickering.
let me ask you a question. You guys undoubtedly have a successful YouTube channel. There's no doubt about it, right? You haven't been doing it all that long. You've worked hard. You guys have stayed on top of it. In the beginning, whose idea or how does it come about? How do you two guys who kind of don't know each other, except for meeting each other on the internet and then going through the process that you explained about, fishing and going away and fishing together and a tournament, who says, hey, let's get a microphone and a couple of computers and let's start a podcast? Like, how does that even start?
All right. Well, it starts with this like belief system, and some people call us a cult now because of it. But there was conversations back then. We used to have this belief in our head that if you actually waited, you'd catch the fish. Like, it's not a matter of if; it's just a matter of when. So we kind of came up with this shit that if we sat there, we'll catch them. And we started doing that, like really suffering. We're suffering. And Dwayne Squatch, NJ Squatch, was always involved with it. Like, gotta suffer. You gotta suffer. And other people, like, a lot of people don't like to suffer, even with hunting. They just want to be comfortable. But me and Chris really started preaching, listen, if you want to catch these fish like we do, you're going to have to suffer. We go to work sometimes and then we fish all night with no sleep, go back to work again. So Chris starts saying this, suffer for the fish, which I can't, it's on my wall there, but it's on your hat too. And I'm like, well,
Oh, yeah, it
suffer for the
is.
fish. I'm saying, oh, what is that? Like a slang, a slogan? And he's like, yeah, it sounds cool. And I said, oh, all right, whatever. At the time, I didn't really like it. I'm like, suffer for the fish, whatever. So Deuce starts printing it on paper, T-shirts and sweatshirts and shit. And he starts putting it on the store. And I'm saying in my head, like, no one's going to buy this because I wouldn't even wear it. Like, suffer for the fish. And all of a sudden, these emails start coming in with sales. These shirts are selling like crazy. I'm saying this can't be real. They're actually buying them. And then the hats come. Like, we can't even keep the hats in. I have to keep buying them. So people got behind this like belief of suffer for the fish. And now it's gotten to the point where, like, I've been out to dinner with my family and someone sitting behind me is wearing the hat, or I see a suffer for the fish shirt. And they'll walk right past me. They don't even know it's me because it's the NJ Multispecies podcast. They don't know who Joe Santiago is at all. But they know the podcast. They know Suffer for the Fish. So they'll just walk by me. But the podcast itself was me. I actually went to college shortly for broadcasting, and I did an internship. I actually worked at 6:20 a.m. in New York City. I was on live radio every Wednesday night on a ghost show. It was like a paranormal show. I was an intern on it. But that was my radio experience. So I had said to Chris, I said, all this shit, we're always calling people like, how thick is the ice on this lake? Are the perch biting here? Is there any striped bass? There's all this stuff out there for saltwater, but it's not there for freshwater. So I said, well, maybe if we started a fishing contest that was just about New Jersey and we catered it just to skillful angler. And Chris said, what's a podcast? He didn't even know what a podcast was. He had a flip phone. So I basically I explained what a podcast was. I said, I have no idea how to do one though. So I said, I went to high school with a guy that knows how to do this shit, but he isn't going to work for free. Like, he ain't going to do it free. So we then came up with the idea that I'm going to pitch this idea to Deuce to produce the podcast. And if it turns successful, he owns 1/3 of it. So we all own 1/3. And I said, this guy's never going to go for this. He don't even know what fishing is. For some reason, Deuce said, fine, I'll try it. And he started doing the podcast. He started the clothing sales. Yeah, 128 episodes. We're all still here. I think around
Not
episode 99, we had an enormous blowout. We all broke up like the Beatles.
yeah.
Me and Chris recorded one episode without Deuce, and then we just somehow worked it out. Now we've gone another 28 without fighting or killing each other. But yeah, it's been the most amazing thing of the whole thing is the people I've met, including you. I mean, Chuck Manny. I mean, Chuck Manny's like one of my best friends now. I'm with once a week. Jen Wan. I didn't know these guys before the podcast. John
Right.
Dorn, Frank Mahalik. I mean, I've met so many people, made so many friends. That's the best part of it, in my opinion.
I agree.
Like, I know everyone wants to, I want to go on the podcast and be social media and make money, but there's like other fringe benefits with it that are better than the money, realistically.
Yeah. You are 100% right. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, just watching you guys from the get-go, like I'll use I mean, Jen I knew. I knew Jen before I knew you guys. And the funny thing is when I met Jen, I was told by a friend of mine who was friends with him and me. Jen and I didn't know each other. They're like, "You got to meet this guy. He's like really into fishing." I'm like, "How into fishing could somebody be?" Well, he's into fishing. But your podcast, you guys accentuate people. You guys, you and Chris are into fishing. Jen's into fishing. Chuck Manning, all the names of the people that you just mentioned about being friends with now, these guys are all hardcore fishermen and really into it. And so it's interesting. But yeah, like I'll use Chuck as an example. I didn't know who Chuck was. I mean, I knew his name. I knew he was like the striper guy, but that's it. I didn't know really who he was. If I ran into him, I would never know who he was. To watch you guys, I think you interviewed him more than once, right?
Oh
Did
yeah,
you interview?
Chuck and
Yeah,
two or
multiple.
three times.
Yeah. So after the first one, the next thing I know, you guys are fishing with him, and I know that by viewing your Facebook page. And now, I mean, forget it. Now I see you guys on the ice together, ice fishing, and
Oh yeah,
you know,
yeah,
you got
and
Jen out there, and he's got his cherry jacket on that he wears. Jen,
and
it
I
looks like
love.
he's going to
I
land a
mean,
helicopter.
I think that there's a lot of people that are doing things that they weren't doing before. The New Jersey Skillful Angler program, when the podcast first started, I think it had like 100 entries, and when we started talking about it, went up to 500. And this year, 2025, we started our own contest as a test, Multispecies Mayhem, which you Signal 11 Outdoors sponsored one of the bass contests inside of it.
Right.
That's actually been a huge success. We've had over 700 fish entered, which is crazy. It's a year-long tournament. So we've pretty much decided 2026, it's going to become a club. For the next year, Multi-Species Mayhem is going to be a fishing club for anyone to join for $35.
Wow,
And
I
that
like that.
automatically enters everyone into that contest. So if you're out fishing and catch a nice fish, you can go on your app and enter it. If you don't want to or don't catch a nice fish, you just don't. It's a
Right.
fishing tournament at your own convenience.
Yeah, really cool. Really cool. I mean, I actually, I'll be honest with you, when it got started this year, and I knew I was going to sponsor a trophy, and I appreciate you guys even giving me the opportunity to do that. But I joined right away. I paid my whatever the entry fee was, knowing that I'm never ever gonna have the time to go out and measure a fish. I do have a bump board. I do have a kayak. I do fish. Actually, this year I fished probably less than ever, but I do fish. And I joined anyway because in the beginning I said, let me join because I think it might have been like I don't even remember, $20 or whatever it was, $30. I
25,
don't remember.
25 bucks.
25 bucks. So I joined figuring, it's like me buying a bear tag for the bear hunt. I know I'm not shooting a bear, but I buy it anyway because for $2, I want the numbers to be up. Well, you guys ended up with a successful tournament. It was worth the money to watch to get the messages and stuff and see how things were going.
Seeing.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, eventually I want to actually do the work, put the time in to measure the fish, take the pictures, enter everything. I just
I
haven't done
mean,
it yet.
the other day I was catfishing. I was just simple catfishing. I was actually trying to catch catfish that would score points in the contest. And all of a sudden the line bends over and it's a 31-inch striped bass. Huge surprise. I've never caught a striped bass in this spot. And it scored points. It's now in third place in the striped bass division. So you just never know.
Right.
The contest involves every freshwater species in the state except the American eel because they're just too hard to measure.
Right.
but you could catch it at any time. You could catch a bullhead and win a trophy. The Signal 11 trophies I thought were the nicest ones, and I actually won that. So
Yes, sir.
I'm getting that
Nice.
at the Christmas party. I'll be
Yeah.
getting the Signal 11 Bass trophy. I just bashed bass so bad, and I won the bass the
I
Signal
know. I
11
love
bass
it.
contest. I won it.
It's so ironic. It's incredible.
Well, it's
And, the multi-species Christmas party is of legend.
oh yeah.
I'm gonna plan on being there this year as long as I
Oh,
can
I
get a
hope
ticket.
you're there. December
Yeah.
6th. I hope you're
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
The party is insane. The other thing I
Yeah.
wanted to just mention real quick, the other mini contest they had within the Multi-Species Mayhem was a hybrid and walleye contest, and I actually won that too. So that I won both of them, but that one I won with lip glue.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was using a jerk bait that was just absolutely smothered in lip glue on that second night when I caught the 4 giants that won it. So that one was lip glue. I used live bait to win the bass one. So no lip glue for that. But yeah, I always do smear lip glue on my lures, especially when I night fish, and it does make a difference. Whether it works or not, I don't really know. But now I've seen it get whacked so many times, I have to use it anyway. Like you just
Yeah.
got to use it because you don't know. You don't know.
It's a confidence build.
I mean, I've definitely seen it in saltwater make a difference.
Yeah.
The last time I went, actually, I went with Scotty Sevens for sheep's head. And I'm out there just fishing with him, and all of a sudden he's like, "Hey, you got any of that lip glue on you?" And I'm like, "No, I don't. Why? Did you want some right now?" He's like, "Well, last time I had a customer here that had some on his crab. He caught a couple extra." I'm like, "Oh, if I would have known that, I got a shit ton." I was on vacation though and didn't have my stuff. But yeah,
Yeah.
the more people that see lip glue actually work in person they become believers. I'm one of them.
Yeah.
And I also notice everyone has their own scent. Like Dwayne loves the crawfish one.
Oh,
I
yeah.
use the stink. Chris likes the shad.
Yeah.
Max has a favorite. So it's just,
Yeah.
it's become a thing with us with the lip glue.
And yeah, it's awesome. I mean, I think Jen uses the shad for like chapstick and everything. He loves
Yeah,
that shad.
he
But
is. I
he
don't like even touching his shit because, like, if you get tangled on Jen's line,
Yeah,
his lure is so
I
slippered
know.
up in lip glue, you can't get it untangled.
That's great. I love it. I appreciate you guys using it too. I mean, I tell you real quick. I mean, I've been doing the hunting stuff 19 years. I mean, this year when we hit 26, I'll be 20 years as a business doing this. The lip glue was really something to fill in a little bit of time in the summer when the deer stuff slows down. I was into scent and into all of that stuff, and I was fishing a lot. I started fooling around with all kinds of weird concoctions, and all these years later, I mean, I've had that probably for at least 10 years or more. It's improved a little bit. It's gotten to the point where it works really good. I got the oil and the gel, but you guys utilizing it, I appreciate it because I know for a fact that way back when you and I and Chris did the first podcast together, and I didn't know you guys. Excuse me. I remember you going, lip glue. What the hell is that shit? What is it like crazy glue? Like, I picked these stupid names even for my deer lure and stuff just because I kind of wanted it something that was memorable. But the lip glue thing, I think it might have took a while for people to get past it, but now it's just kind of there's nothing else with that name or even close to it. So that's the whole reason why I kind of chose the name.
And scents have been around for a while too that have been, and
Oh
this is a
yeah.
Jersey made one, and we could vouch for it that it actually does work. We love it, and it is a game changer. It can be.
Yeah.
I have to say I love the podcast too because these podcasts, they are a lot of work. They're a lot more work than people know, and like I like my hunting show. I love Meat Eater. I like Ted Nugent, but realistically, I'm not hunting in Texas. I'm not mule deer hunting in Wyoming. I want to listen to someone that's talking about New Jersey hunting. I'm, sitting in a pallet blind hunting deer, maybe over a corn pile checking trail cameras. So it's really cool to have these kind of podcasts, and they need support. The only thing that keeps them going is support. If
Yeah.
we come on here and no one's watching it or no one's liking it, we'll just stop doing it. The support is what keeps us going. And I think now, it's important that the podcasts support each other because
Yes.
they're important. If you do enjoy these local podcasts, you have to support them.
I agree. I agree. And you know what it is when once you start watching like me watching you and Chris, it becomes like the kind of thing that you look forward to, and I'll get the subscription. I'll show me what you have, and I may not get to it for a week or two, but then all of a sudden I'll binge watch a few of them. And the nice thing about your podcast, and I try to do the same thing. Your stuff is educational. It's fun. You talk to great people, and there's something to learn from every single one of your podcasts. There's no doubt about it. I mean, unless you're some kind of exceptional fisherman that maybe knows it all, which I don't think there's many of those, but there's plenty that think they know it all. Your podcast, I tell people all the time, if you're going to go do fluke fishing or black fishing or whatever, you're going to go after walleye, jump on one of the podcasts, look at the titles on your channel, and you can definitely learn because you got some great guests on there.
I appreciate that, Steve.
Yeah. Nope.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on here. I appreciate everything you've done for us, and I appreciate your podcast. Yeah, I really do hope to see you at the Christmas party this year. That was a bummer
Oh yeah,
last
we're
year when
definitely.
you weren't there. I hope you're there this year.
Yeah, I'm planning on it. I'm planning on it. I want to. A couple people have asked me. I want to just bring up. You mentioned about the me being on your podcast, and then the Nugent episode. So I just want to, if I could, if you don't mind, I just want to mention. I just want to go over real quick how, because a couple people have asked me, so at least I could guide them to this. But somehow or another, Joe and Chris, I ended up getting on your podcast.
Yes.
This is a while back, probably through, I'm guessing through
It
Jen
wa it
Wong.
was through Signal. We had used Signal 11 Tramp Stamp. We didn't even know about lip glue yet. We knew Tramp Stamp, Signal. I don't even know if I knew Signal 11. I just knew Tramp Stamp.
Yes.
And somebody had told me this is the guy that makes Tramp Stamp and he makes fishing lures.
Right.
And we had got you on an episode, and you could go back. The episode's still there on our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
It's the first Steve Casiello on Signal 11.
Yeah.
But
Right.
there's a point in the episode where you make a comment and you said, maybe I'll be it. You start talking about, I know Ted and I hunted with him and he uses my product. And you said, you make a comment like, oh, well, I might be able to get Ted to come on here. And our faces just drop. Like,
Yeah.
is this guy?
Yes.
This guy can't be serious. He's serious? Holy shit. A couple months later, it actually came to fruition. Like, me
Yes.
and Chris had to leave work because Ted's on a different time zone. And
Right.
Steve is on the episode too. But that episode sparked a YouTube reel that had 729,000 views. It was our
Wow.
biggest YouTube reel ever posted at that time. And that brought a lot of YouTube subscribers and really
Right.
pumped the YouTube channel. It gave a big legitimacy to the podcast. Like,
Yes.
wow, these guys got Ted Nugent. So yeah, it gave that kind of awe to it. Definitely.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, I'm thinking back to that. What's funny about the episode that before Ted, when I was on it with you, is as I'm talking to you and Chris, and we're basically talking about the tramp stamp, the deer lure I make, and then I go and mention something about the lip glue, and you're like, oh, wait a minute, you're the guy that makes the lip glue, and I'm like, yeah. He's like, I never really knew what it was. I thought it was some bullshit where you like crazy, whatever. And then we're talking, and then about a couple minutes later, I'm like, yeah, I use that, and I make these baits called Jersey fluke bellies. Then you're like, wait a minute, you make the Jersey fluke bellies too?
Yeah, we still laugh about this, and anyone watching this that doesn't know, like Steve owns 12 successful companies under 12 separate names that you would never know they're connected to each other. It's just like there's probably still some we don't know that it's your shit.
Yeah, there is.
I'm sure there is.
And the funny thing is, when I mentioned, I said, Nugent would love being on a podcast like this. You guys are like, well, yeah, right. Like, what are you talking about? And it's true because, obviously he did come on, and obviously I talk to Ted all the time, and I think he sent you guys some stuff. He actually,
He did.
he wanted your addresses, and he sent it. And in that podcast that Ted's on, it's funny because it's not easy. Like you said, you had to get out of work. Ted uses certain studio time, and it's these small windows that you have, especially during hunting season. And you guys made it happen. And it was a little process just to set it all up and get it to happen. But he was 100% into it. But the cool thing is we get going, and I was so happy for you guys, because I mean, you guys, at that point, I'm now watching you guys, and I know you're a New Jersey podcast, which I love, and you guys are in your beginning, your infancy stage of the whole thing. And I'm actually right in my other room with my fireplace in the background, and I'm sitting there. And if you watch that podcast, I say very little because, first of all, Ted can run a room with his comments. And watching you and Chris from the first minute to the very end was so cool. There was really not much for me to say. I was just on there just to kind of be the ambassador to bring him on. And that's a great episode without a doubt. And you
That
guys
really
deserve all the credit for that.
was an amazing experience. I mean, people obviously, when I tell people I have a podcast, that's the first thing I still say. Yeah, I interviewed Ted Nugent. It's the
Yeah.
first thing on my resume. But
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. I don't know if we'll ever top that. That could be the best ever. Guess wise, Ted Nugent. I mean, it doesn't get much better than him in the outdoors world. I'd love to have
No.
Meat Eater one day. I love Meat Eater too, but who knows with him.
Well,
But yeah,
you guys are building your way to that level of, getting whoever you want.
my biggest thing with Ted Nugent was he's one of the most well-known, he's just well-known for music, politics. He's well-known for all this. He has money, he has his ranches, he has all kinds of shit to do, and he somehow found the time to just sit down and talk to two complete strangers from New Jersey about fishing. And he actually took the time to sit down with us and praise us that we have this freedom of speech microphone in front of us. And that in itself was just unbelievable. And it kind of like shows his character that he'll do anything for because I'm a nobody. I still can't comprehend why Ted Nugent would take time out of his day to talk to me about fishing. It's unrealistic.
Yeah, but you know what? If you really, I understand what you're saying, and I realize the impact it had because anybody who watches it will watch your faces, and I think you and Chris were both, at first you're both like, I can't believe he's actually on,
I couldn't
and you're
believe it.
like, I took off of work, so I'm glad he actually came on, right? But I will say, you and Chris both had great questions for him. You had a great conversation with him. It was really an engaging episode, and he loved it. He was in his same old rare form where he just goes off. But there was things that you and Chris said that he loved, and I could see it in
Yeah.
the way he responded to you guys.
He's just
So he
awesome.
really enjoyed it.
I have to say the same thing about Jack Chitterelli. I mean, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, no matter what your stance is on politics, if you're an outdoors person, Jack Chitterelli's so busy running for governor, he barely has time to go to the bathroom. And he took the time to sit down on both these podcasts. He sat down on the NJ Multispecies one, and he's done the Signal Ebb one 2 times. So that's him showing that he's trying to show the sportsmen and women of New Jersey that he actually cares. Because once again, I'm a nobody. For Jack Chitterelli to sit down and talk to me, I don't know how much that's going to help him, but he did it. And it shows that he cares to me. The other one didn't even answer. Didn't answer any email or anything.
Right.
No, she was given the same invitation, same questions too. Nothing. Dead. So,
Right.
I mean, I think the proof is in the pudding. If you like your outdoors in the state, what you have to do. It's just that simple.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I've done a couple of short podcasts over the last 2 days that I'm going to put out there, and that's really it's that simple. What I want to reiterate to everybody is we're only days away right now from a New Jersey election for governor, and we only have 2 choices, right? So you got to pick one of the 2 or not vote. So you better get out and vote, and you better do a little digging, figure out which candidate is best for what you enjoy doing in the state of New Jersey when it comes to recreational outdoor stuff, and make a wise decision and get out there and vote for the person that's going to help you. I mean, like Joe said, I mean, I agree. Jack has been, I think he's truly interested in everything that's going on in the state. I think he knows the inner workings of the state of New Jersey as well as anybody who's not actually in the state government yet can possibly know it. He's been running, he's been working hard. He's got an unbelievable memory. He remembers everything that he talks to people about, and he truly has a vested interest. And I think, you say you're a nobody and you're in the outdoor industry. Why would he talk to you? Well, I think he truly cares about, like I said, every resident. And there is a lot of topics in the outdoor industry, both fishing and hunting, that affect a lot of people who are residents and voters. And I think that he has showed us that he actually does care about it. And if we can get him in there, maybe we could see a change. We know what the last 8 years were like. Maybe the next 4 for starters can be a little bit better if we get him in there. So yeah, you got to get out there and vote. And you got to make sure you vote for the person that you think is going to help what you really enjoy in this state.
I really think that just by seeing them come on these, like, it's not a podcast that's like, this isn't the Howard Stern show. It's just a New Jersey fishing podcast, and he actually took the time out of it. And I could assure you he's got more important things to do than talk about fishing. But
Yes,
he took the time to sit on both these podcasts and talk about fishing and hunting, which the other one hasn't done. That's all I could say. I mean, what else can I say?
that's enough. Yeah, that really will say it all. Just the simple fact that one candidate really cared enough to even respond and actually come on and do stuff. And the funny thing is, I mentioned it a few times that Jack coming on my podcast and your podcast is something that we really didn't think he'd be interested in doing, right? And he did a really good job on both of them. And then when I had talked to him afterwards, and I had mentioned that I got a lot of feedback, people were asking me about other things that we didn't get to talk about in the short period we were on there. He said, "Well, let's do another one." So I was like, "Okay, that's cool." And then I thought about it. I'm like, this guy's, like you said, this guy's so busy, but he made the time to answer the questions that people had. He answered the first questions that you and I and Chris all asked him, but then when he found out there was other questions, let's do it again. And I certainly hope that our viewers get out there and vote. And I hope our viewers talk to their family and tell their family, hey, you know, uh, sis, cousin, or, whoever, mom, dad, whatever. I really love this. This is what I love to do. I work hard and I like to enjoy my fishing and hunting. I like to enjoy hiking. I like to enjoy camping. Maybe you could vote for the guy that could help me, and help the state keep these regulations at bay to the point where we can get out and enjoy ourselves. So I think it strikes up a conversation, and I think that's the biggest thing. We have to get out there and vote. But we got to make sure our neighbors and our family members and they all get out there and vote, and just have a conversation with them. And when they say, "Joe, well, what do you think? Why are you voting for that guy?" I guarantee you, your family members see you smiling about it. They're going to be like, "You know what? That guy, he might be the guy if he's got Joe smiling. Joe don't smile much."
I mean, yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, and tonight I got you to be on here without the Goopaline on. Usually you have the
Yeah.
hat on. Is it
Which
close
hat?
by?
Which hat?
Your wool hat. You always have your
Oh,
wool
no,
hat
it's
on,
not
right?
freezing in here. My wife
Oh,
keeps the heat in here at like Eskimo, so I gotta like dress Arctic down in this room. But yeah, I have to also with the podcast, I have to shout out Jerry Zagor. When you asked about the podcast ideas, Jerry Zagorski always used to tell me, if you can't fish, you should just talk about it. And that was another
right,
thing that kind of popped that idea into our head, like, oh well, we could be talking about this shit at night.
right.
But yeah, it's all worked out. It's still going. The Signal 11 Outdoors one, New Jersey, now has a fishing and a hunting podcast. So it's all
Yes,
awesome. It's a great
it's
network
great.
of people. If you're able to get involved in either one, come to any of the Christmas parties or the fishing trips we do, it's all awesome. Great group of
Yeah,
people.
it is good stuff. And I have to give you guys one before we wrap it up. I got to give you one more thank you for the folks that don't know. I was doing close, not every week, but fairly close to weekly. I was doing a rut report for you guys last year, just talking about what's happening in the hunting world at the end of your episodes. And that is basically what led to me doing a single episode on your channel with that guy Mario that shot that half rack buck. That episode got crazy amount of views.
Yeah, it did.
And that is kind of what catapulted me into saying, and you and Chris were both, and Deuce as well. We're both like, hey, maybe you want to do it. Maybe you might want to do one, and
Well, there was something happened where like you missed a week and you weren't on. And somebody, like a couple people, sent us emails like, "Where was the Signal 11 report?" And I'm saying in my head, okay, so there's people actually on the podcast that are waiting for the end to see the deer hunting report. And that's when
Yeah.
we were like, "Look, this guy's he's got to do his own show." Like they want to see him for his own show, and I think that's kind of where the idea came out of, because those few weeks you were missing, people were emailing us saying, "Where did he go?" And I think that's where it kind of came from.
Really cool. I mean, it's again, it comes down to like-minded people. We enjoy the same things for the most part with the outdoors, the fishing, the hunting. You know, that hunting and fishing community gets along so well. You know, everybody's a little weird, a little quirky, a little odd, a little of this, a little of that, but in the end, you throw a line in the water together, or you go, you know, you climb in a deer stand, your buddy climbs into a ground blind or behind a pallet blind, like you said. We all have the same passion
Yeah.
of enjoying the outdoors, and I think that's really the key. That's how we all got connected, you
But I
know, and
still have to I have to still emphasize on the following, like, before I did this, I didn't like stuff or click subscribe. Now I understand how important it is. It's so simple to just click subscribe or like, and
right,
when a video has 1,000,000 views and you get 100 subscribers on it, why
right,
couldn't the other nine? They just don't understand how much it means to us to just click that one thing. You
yes,
may never even remember you did it, but to us, it means everything. That's where the
yes,
support comes from. So anytime you
yeah.
can, just click the subscribe button.
Well, I agree, and I'm the same way. I didn't realize it either. I watched so much stuff and never really. A lot of times, I wouldn't click like a thumbs up because I just
Yeah,
didn't
me
think it
neither.
mattered. You don't think it
I never did.
matters,
I don't. I
but
really never did. And now after
no,
doing this, I'm begging for it. So I understand now, and I like as much as I can, and
yeah,
click subscribe and share, whatever. You know, you gotta. Like I said, we need the support is what makes us go.
you do, and I mean, if you watch, and no matter what you watch, whether it's New Jersey Multispecies or Signal 11 Outdoors podcast, or you know what kind of bow you want to buy, you're looking at like you have three bows in mind, or three fishing rods or reels, and you watch a dozen videos to just kind of get an idea. Well, if you like those, that guy that spent the time, like Joe said, it's a lot of time. We're talking right now. This thing still has to be edited and uploaded, and sometimes it's slow as shit, and it's a lot. But
It's a pain
when
in
you
the
see a
ass.
thumbs up or a comment or this new subscriber, it really does mean the world to people. And what that means for the guys doing the content is they'll do it for another week and another week, and you'll keep them going.
I agree
It,
100%.
yeah, and I didn't know, just like Joe said, I didn't know how much it meant, but now I do. When I
I
see I
mean,
got a
I
new
could see
subscriber, I'm so excited.
you get excited. You're a little different than us because you actually sell products, so you could sell stuff. We don't sell a product. We are the
Right.
product. So like that support is all we have. We don't like have a product
Right.
to sell. But yeah, if I mean Steve stops getting likes and subscriptions, he stops doing the podcast, and we're the same. The support is just it's so easy to just click the thumbs up or even click the thumbs down. Even if you
Yeah.
don't like it on
Yeah.
YouTube,
Yeah.
click the thumbs down. It's still better than nothing.
Yeah. Any interaction is great.
Anything.
It lets us know it's not dead air out there.
That's right. That's it.
All right, Joe. Well, listen, I think you covered a lot
I
of the
had
questions
fun.
we had. I mean, I think my main question was right behind you, that suffer for the fish. I have the shirt thanks to you guys. And I kind of I think we were on a boat or something together, and I kind of was wondering what it was, and I'm like, you know what? I've known these guys for a little bit of time now. I can't even ask them, like I should have known this already, and I don't. I kind of had an idea what it was, but you explained it well, and the origins. And Deuce behind the scenes is he's a character in his own right.
Oh yeah.
You you and
Just for a
Chris,
background on Deuce. Deuce produces our fishing podcast. He doesn't know what fishing is at all. He's never left dry land, and he doesn't know how to swim. So
yeah,
he's the completely not the right fit for the job. So he's perfect.
yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, yeah, you guys are the three is it really works out well.
Thank
So
you so
Joe,
much, Steve.
if guys want to buy a beautiful hat like this, where are they going? Right onto the website or
NJ
where do
Multispecies.
njmultispecies.com. You got the green shirt. Everybody loves that teal green shirt
If
that you
anyone,
guys have. That's
that's the bait. That's the sea foam. Yeah, that's the one everybody
Seafoam.
loves.
Yeah, that's a hot shirt.
the seafoam one. And if anyone wants to join on Facebook, Multispecies Mayhem, that's our private fishing club where we mostly post about all the private parties and stuff. So if you wanted to go there, and yeah,
And they could just join your Facebook group and just
we have a podcast.
basically
We have a
just follow along.
podcast page on Facebook, the NJ
Yeah,
Multispecies Podcast, but then we have an actual group, NJ Multispecies Mayhem. That's a
right,
private group that you have to be a member of. It has
right,
like 2,500. That's where we actually discuss like the group trips and stuff like that.
right, right. Cool, cool. Yeah,
But
you guys got a
yeah,
lot going on.
yeah,
It's
it's
unique.
like a little universe within itself. And then, like I said, there's tons of fishing content in itself, and there's review videos. There's all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, really
Yeah,
good
but
stuff.
we do appreciate the support, and I do thank you so much for having me on here. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
No, and if it wasn't for you, Chris and Deuce, you wouldn't be on here because I wouldn't exist
If it
in this
wasn't for
media.
Ted Nugent, I might not exist either by now. Who knows? You never know.
Well, the good thing is that he's a genuine guy. I happen to be friendly with him and do some business with him with the hunting stuff. But you guys, believe me, he looks into what he's getting into before he actually signs on. And he was raring to go for you guys. So
I
you
love
guys did
that.
a great job. And lucky for all of us that he loves regular people like us.
That's awesome.
So it worked out great. All right, Joe. Thanks a lot. I'll have to get Chris is going to want to get on now for a little bit.
He's
We'll have
gonna
to
be
do that another
jealous.
night.
Chris will be jealous. I'm not watching that one. I won't watch it. Not
He's going to
interested.
watch yours, though. I know.
I'm not interested. He's gonna watch this, see if I talked about him. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That's why we waited to the end to mention them. All right, man. Thanks,
Thank you,
Joe.
Steve.
Keep up the three is because Deuce, you, and Chris keep up the great work and making New Jersey proud with that awesome amount of fishing you guys do as a group and involving all kinds of people and all species. Awesome, awesome stuff. Great job.
You too, bro. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Talk to you soon. At this time, we'd like to thank our supporters and sponsors. Signal 11 Lures, Lip Glue, New Jersey Multi-Species Podcast, Sever Broadheads, Jersey Fluke Bellies, Favorite Fishing Rods, Timberlife Outdoors, and Buck Knives. If you enjoy the content on our podcast, please like and subscribe and turn on notifications. And please tune back in for our next episode. Thank you.